All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Hopefully, everything sounds good, looks good, and works fine. We're going to get started today going through the process of building out an RTS, and it should be a lot of fun. I think I've started this a couple times, gone through it a little bit, but today is going to be a little bit different because after experimenting with building out an RTS a few times, I've got a whole bunch of ideas, and I'm ready to actually start kind of putting together a full-on plan for how I want to build this thing, what I want to do with it, and start kind of tossing away some of my throwaway stuff that I'm going to run you through and show you, and start building out an actual plan and an actual real project. So that's kind of the plan for today. We're going to go through looking at some existing RTS experiment stuff that I've been doing and playing with behind the scenes. We'll talk about the planning process, going through and actually showing a plan. I've put together a bit of a plan, and we're going to work on that a little bit live too, and go through some of the development and setting up a fresh project. I want to go through and show some of the cool new terrain stuff too. There's a lot of stuff that we'll go over today, so it should be a lot of fun. If you're into Unity stuff and just want to hang out for the morning and have a good time and learn a little bit, this should be good stuff. So I guess, yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna open up Unity. I want to just quickly run you guys through my existing old project. It's kind of a bit of a mess right now. I've been playing around and experimenting with a lot of stuff, but just to give you an idea of theming and some of the stuff that I was coming up with and the ideas before we dive into going through a real new project and building that out. So let me get that opened up real quick. Unity is opening up in the background. So anyway, welcome everybody, and I guess just I want to say hi to everybody in chat, and I'll try to keep an eye on chat. I've got it over here on the left, so I'll try to watch it, but we'll see how this goes. I don't know. It's a little bit weird because I got the camera over here and some stuff over here, so it feels a little strange to me, but we'll see how it all goes. Anyway, what other stuff did I want to talk about while we get started? Oh, I gotta mention this video or this stream was sponsored by Milanote, and mentioned that I'm going to be using their stuff throughout the stream, and they were happy to sponsor it, so that's awesome. Thanks to them, and definitely check it out. And if you're interested in Milanote, I'm going to see if I can get a code for people too. Make sure that you sign up for my email list. Let's see if I can find any kind of a discount or anything that you guys can get. But even if not, they have a free plan. So just go sign up for the free plan. Check it out. There's a link down below. I use it all the time, and you'll see I'm going to use it in this too. It's one of my favorite tools, especially just for planning out and designing game stuff. I'm pointing at my screen here that you can't see yet while it's loading in. So let's switch to a screen share mode. Let me see if I can move this over here. Get it in and pop this up here. Desktop mode. Oh, that's kind of close. Once it finishes importing, I'll resize it and you can see it. Well, we'll jump in and start seeing some things. Right now the camera is set to perspective. It'll probably be perspective in the final view because I want to be able to zoom in and out and do normal cool camera stuff with it. I don't think I want to stick with ISO. So let's see. We should be able to now resize this. I don't remember which level this is. I've been kind of doing a lot of experimenting with the terrain tool, so I blew up my levels and messed them all up, but I wasn't too worried about it because I knew I was going to toss this thing. So let's see if I can find my level here. Which one is this? Oh, this is the one where I was playing with the blending tools. Do I have the level still existing where I've got a couple characters set up? So yeah, here we go. So this is closer to the actual theming, kind of what you can see in the last thumbnail that I put up. And this one, if I haven't broken it, might still actually work, where you can build out some units, build out some harvesters, build out construction things, and then have them go harvest. And let's see, does this work still? Go select the construction vehicle, tell it to build out another resource gatherer, builds that, starts putting down some terrain changes, so it's doing a little bit of layer painting there, and then it can have some units that I can control, and I believe these would go over and attack, although they're not doing a ranged attack right now. I think they're just this one's not even attacking anymore. So some of them were working and attacking, and then I know that some of them, the harvesters, were working. Where's the harvesters go to the mines? That's right. So I could send them over to the mines. They'll go collect resources, come back, and kind of load things up. Obviously, there's no shadows in here. You can see it looks really weird. But again, just a kind of a placeholder and an idea for where I want this thing to kind of go. So this is kind of the theme that I'm thinking, more of that command and conquer. And I'll dive into some of the docs in just a second that show some of the theming. And then the world or the map, something kind of like this, but I've actually got a new layout that I'm going to show you. So we'll dive through it, and I'll show you how to really, really quickly implement the new map layout. So this is going to be my my new map there, and I'll show you how we can drop that in just a couple minutes. It's actually super, super simple. So let's see. What do I want to talk about next or get into next before we start opening up a new project? So you can kind of see, well, first just mention what the stuff that's in here. So the main thing that's in here outside of all of the cool sci-fi RTS assets is the RTS engine. So if we look in, I'm just going to go to my root. In the root, I've got the RTS engine pack. And this is an asset pack from the Unity asset store that just covers building out an RTS. It's essentially all the bare bones, or not the bare bones, but the bones or the framework for building an RTS. It's somewhat opinionated on how it's built, but it works, and it's just, you can build an RTS and have it up and running. I wanted to use this as a starting point because I thought it'd be a great way to kind of proof of concept out my idea, see if I like it, and then if it's not functional for the final version or for a real version of it, once I'm ready to do a real full slice of it, I could always swap it out and rewrite a lot of that functionality. But it gives me a lot of things I can just kind of slot in and make sure that I actually want to do and want to use before I even think about building things, and lets me actually focus on the game, which is really the goal here, is focusing on the game, getting the game done, not focusing on how many low-level building blocks I can put together. That's one of the things I want to try to avoid and try to minimize distractions with getting into those low-level things, at least as much as possible. Obviously, some places it's going to be required. There will be things where you got to get in and fix things up and optimize stuff. And even with RTS Engine, I've been in there making little changes here and there. But there's something important to note that right now it's on version 1.5.8, and they have a version 2 beta that they're working on. That's, I guess it's available now. I signed up for it. I haven't tried it out yet, but my plan is to, in the next version, do an update to their version 2, see how that is, see if it's a little bit easier to work with, what the differences are. I assume that it's just going to be architecturally all around better. So my guess is that unless there's some reason to not switch to it permanently, I'll make the switch to that one permanently, and then I'll go from there and decide whether or not I want to stick with RTS Engine, maybe in a few months, or if I want to build out my own stuff. My guess is I'll probably stick with it unless I run into a reason. I mean, realistically, I'll stick with it unless I run into a reason that I have to switch. If something's like forcing me to switch because I can't get something done in it, then I'll make the change. Other than that, I'll probably stick with it. So we'll see how it is with version 2, though. I'm not going to get into that one today, but probably by next week is my guess. I'll update to it. I want to run through it a little bit offline, make sure that I've got it all kind of loosely figured out and understand that it works and stuff before we dive into it live. All right, so this is the engine thing that I'm using. What else is in here? I think that was pretty much it that I wanted to talk about. There are a couple little custom scripts and stuff, but now I want to talk about, I guess, just really quickly, my plan and design and where I'm at with that, because I've gone through a little bit of it and I haven't shared it with anybody yet. So I built out a full plan for my game, or not a full plan, but the start of a plan for my game, and I haven't really shared it and showed it to anybody, but it's what I've been using to go through things. So let's pull this up now. So here's the board that I've got, and this is the Millinote that I was talking about. This is the tool that I use all the time. So this is my board for keeping track of basically my plan for my RTS. I've got a whole bunch of other boards up there for other things. But the one we're talking about now for this RTS just covers all of the different kind of things that I've thought about and tried to figure out in my early planning stages. I've got an idea of what the core things about the game are, the stuff that I want to have it be. Like I want the game duration to be generally like under a minute or under not under a minute, under an hour, so that they're not too quick or not too long, and people can get in there. And at least like 20 minutes, maybe 30. I got a set of players. The goal right there is pretty obvious. Be the last one standing. Setting up a storm like the Fortnite storm, so 20 minutes in or halfway in, it'll start to shrink and kind of kill everybody and push people in towards the center. And then obviously the theming, you can see it says Command and Conquer, but you can see that I've got that right here too. And I'll look at some of these inspiration boards in just a second to give you kind of a better idea. And then the last part, I did mention that I might go with like cartoony assets instead of using realistic sci-fi assets. I'm not completely sure, but I'm up in the air. I think I'm gonna go with realistic sci-fi stuff, but probably yeah, I'll probably go with that. But I just want to consider it. It's still a little bit undecided. And then a couple notes about like what I thought was actually gonna be fun about it, which was mainly the option to kind of you got a couple choices. One is fighting over the center of the map, which you can again can't really see. Let's switch to a full desktop. You can see there. So this would be like the center of the map area that they're fighting over. I don't know if flip everyone off there. And then you could fight over that and get into that early, or go into one of these outer areas, kind of build up, and then rush in at the end, right? And then having it be a quick RTS where you've got like a set goal and a set amount of time, so that they can't, it doesn't end up with 4-hour games or something like that for people that want it to be relatively quick. Or you could set an amount of time, and that's basically the time limit with something somewhat realistic. And then, yeah, I think the storm just kind of makes it neat. So let's look at I want to look real quickly at my steps, show you where I am right now, and then we'll look at the inspiration stuff and kind of go through a couple more things and start doing some development. So for my next steps, one that I've already done was adding different units and buildings. So I kind of wanted to go through the process before building out all of the stuff of actually putting in different units into RTS engine. So I could put in a tank, put in a building, and just see what that process was like. Make sure that it was going to be something usable and like a viable workflow before I started doing any of the other stuff. I didn't want to go through RTS engine and set up an entire loop of a battle loop or a building drop point that's going to drop in one of these things or any of the other stuff until I was a little bit more sure that that's what I wanted to use. And I went through that process. You kind of saw that just a minute ago in my demos here. I've got all of these buildings. If you go down here and look at the factions, go look at my vehicle factory or something. Here, let's zoom in. Oops, switch to ISO mode. There we go. So you can see I just pulled in a couple different packs, different sci-fi packs that I had, and a couple that I just grabbed because they were really cool, and some unit packs. Swapped all these in just to make sure that that was going to be, again, something I could easily do and make this something I could use for actually building out a game. So next up, I want to go through and do these other tasks though. So recreate a rough terrain for a 4-player map, and I've got that again drawn up here. We'll go through that process. Finish the simple battle loop with a bot with some of the existing units. So instead of swapping in my units, I want to go through using their existing example units. So they've got like a knight, an archer, a builder, a barracks, and a couple other things. And I'll use those to start. And then once I've got that loop kind of set up, I'll start going back in and swapping out the units and stuff. And then I want to figure out how we're going to add in the starting point or the starting building point. So maybe I'll begin with just a mobile construction thing and then do the drop down thing somewhat after that. But anyway, let's look at some of these the boards real quick and just get an idea of what I was thinking. So if you haven't played Command and Conquer 0 Hour, it's kind of the core inspiration, and it's got a bunch of different armies with different sides that are not very well represented in the buildings one. So there's the GLA side, which has a bunch of like cheaper mobile units that some of them self-destruct, a lot of them move really quickly. They're really good at like kind of jumping in, striking, and jumping back out. They got little tunnels that allow them to pop up anywhere and pop down below the ground and disappear. And there was the USA side that had one of their sides was Air Force, so they had like a really strong Air Force option or a strong what were their other ones? I'm trying to remember now. They had a super weapon one that was like a defense side and something else. I don't remember. And then China had tanks and infantry ones, and yeah, all different armies and stuff. So there's a big variety of them. You can kind of see that. Let's see, in some of the units here. So in the units, I just went through and just kind of showed some of the existing ones that I wanted to loosely copy. I don't want to copy all of the things, but I kind of want to loosely copy the rock paper scissorsy idea of them, so that some things can defeat other things easily, and some people can come in and defeat other people easily. Um, and then just kind of using these as a reference. And then I went through and also dropped in a couple of the just different things that I want to use as assets. So with Milnote, one of the things you do is like paste in a link, and then it just drops in a link into there with a little preview, and then I can go click on it and check it out and see, go actually buy the thing when I'm ready for it if I decide that that's the one I want to use. I think vehicle constructor is one that I actually did use. Yeah, it's one of the ones that's in there. And then a couple of these other ones down here. Let's see. What else did I have in here that I wanted to talk about? Is there anything on the game flow? Oh yeah, so I was planning out the actual game flow. So this is kind of give you guys an idea of what I was thinking for how the game will actually work and play. You'll start up by just joining a game. It'd be some number of players, 4 to 16 is kind of what I'm initially targeting. You pick an army. You won't pick a starting point, so you'll instead drop in just like a battle bus kind of thing. So it probably not exactly a battle bus, but something where you're dropping in your initial starting building unit, and then your building unit will land. You'll run around and actually start your building. And these are just some of the example buildings. This was the GLA builder. I think this was one of the Command and Conquer building mobile construction units that I was able to find a picture of. So it turns into a base. So you drop something down that can build your first base and start building. And you build, collect resources and stuff, and then fight as the storm comes in and locks you down right towards the middle of the map. So that's kind of the plan. Somebody asked if I was going to share this board. Let's see. Can I share a... There's a way to share a public one. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can share this so people can actually just kind of follow along and take a look. So I want to make sure that I share it the right way and I don't mess things up. Okay. All right. I'm going to drop the link for the board right down here. There you go. It's in chat. So if anybody wants to hop in and just kind of click around, look at the board, you should be able to now. Oh, whoops. I think I just shared the game flow board. Hold on. Let me share the RTS board instead. So that way you can see a little bit more than just the game flow. Get that link in there too. Publish and share. Share with the link. Copy the link and paste. All right. Oh, cool. Somebody else is working with RTS Engine 2 beta for their project. How do you like it? I assume it's pretty good and that you're enjoying it. I mean, you're working with it, so you got any thoughts or feedback on it? I love to hear it. So let's see, what else did I have in here? I had the game flow, my assets. So it's just some of the stuff that I looked at. I looked at RTS framework as well. It just decided that this one had a little bit more to it. The RTS engine had a bit more in there already built, so it was less stuff that I needed to do. So I wanted to go with that. And then some of the packs that I was using, and then some interesting problems. So one of the side effects of building this game, or one of the extra benefits of building out a game like this, is that I get to come across just random problems that pop up. So just random things that I want to discover or fix or just do that I think would be interesting as a YouTube video or interesting to other people. And one of those was just the idea of terrain painting. So real-time terrain painting, being able to change it so that like you saw in the preview one. Let me just show you real quick. Let me hit play again. So when you drop down a building, like making the grass go away and concrete appear underneath. Actually really, really easy, but there's not a lot of stuff out there. There weren't a lot of videos out there, or even just documents. There were a couple blog posts and a little bit of documentation out there I was able to go through and figure it out. But I thought that something like that could be an interesting video here. So let me just drop one down and see it. You see how it drops down, and it's definitely not perfect in this example. In a real video, it'll go around and kind of figure it out perfect and go through that whole process. But it's one of the many different types of problems and things that I think are going to come out of this that'll make for great YouTube videos and just great content of stuff that people will want to solve and hopefully have some interest in solving. I may end up just solving a bunch of stupid problems that nobody cares about. And then I wrote down a couple other problems that people might be interested in. So talking about using lockstep game development or a lockstep model for this versus what we're going to be using, different RTS options. So like the asset packs that are out there. I'll probably, once I go through RTS Engine 2 and take a deeper look at some of the other options, maybe do a video about that. And then I actually did a video about that already, so I can kind of shut up about that one. And networking stuff and the whole setup for networking and how to go through that. So I think that would be interesting too. Oh, they're using decal projectors for underbuilding textures. That is an interesting way to do it too. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's see. Sorry, I'm reading chat and talking. It's a little bit weird, but it's fun stuff. All right, let's jump back in. So I think that's all there was in here. Was there anything in my detailed task set? Oh, yes. The stuff that I wanted to do. So on my quick to-do list of my updated tasks, in progress is I'm redesigning my map for 4 players. So that's kind of the current thing. And I guess that's probably where we'll start. Well, I guess that's actually kind of already done. I'll go through and show you the map, and then we'll go on to my my to-do list. I think I'm going to change this up a bit, though, because I do want to go through the map process. I don't necessarily want to go through designing an entire army right now, but we'll see. Anyway, so redesign of the map. Let's just briefly talk about it. I've got an image of it that I'm going to pull up. So here, I'll flash it on the camera real quick. You can see the map. That's it. But let me pull up an actual a screenshot of it, because I think that's a little bit more useful and a lot easier to see than a picture I'm holding up on the camera. So let's see, where's that image? It's in my videos folder. I'll find it eventually. It's in the files. Where are you? I've got a big giant folder full of stuff that occasionally gets set as the default and things get dumped into there. So it may take me just a second. Oh, no, actually, it should be in here. Where are you, picture? I sent it to myself. Oh, I know where it is. It's in my project. Let's go grab it out of there. So I dropped it right into... Okay, what did I do with this thing? I've got it here somewhere. I promise. I promise I have a picture of my picture. Okay, I know where I've got it. We're going to get this thing up here and you'll be able to see it. And it's going to be really, really, really exciting. You're going to love this picture. Let's see, where are you? Scroll. There we go. And download. Oh, it is in the videos folder. See? I knew it. All right, let's just pull it up. All right, here it is. Let's see if this shows up on screen and if I can make it nice and big. All right, so you can kind of see the picture there. I'm going to pull it into Unity. It'll make a lot more sense once it's in there, but I just briefly want to run through it. So I drew it up on paper because it's a tip that quite a few friends just generally recommend, and I try to follow their recommendations, and it helps a lot, make it easy to really quickly iterate. So just draw it up, kind of sketch it out, get a quick outline of the plan for what I want it to be, and then show you how to quickly pull it into Unity. So the goal is 4 raised up bases. These gray areas or shaded in areas are kind of raised up with little ramps that come down from each side. Walls here, so it's somewhat defensible, and then the dollar signs are just resources. So it's the places where the players would fight over for money. There's a lot of them around the edge, so lots of money on the edge, on the outside. You can fight over for cash crash early on, and then a storm come in and kind of push you towards the middle as those things get absorbed or taken over, and they're no longer available. And then just a middle area to fight over as like the final spot. And this is where people could either go in early to the middle, and after in the show yesterday, we were talking to Salim and them, and one of I think it was Salim's ideas was to put in some defenses here in the middle by default, so that like there'd be NPCs, maybe just some guys standing there with a rocket launcher in a little fortification or something. Like if you ever played a Command and Conquer, there are all these passive buildings that guys could just go into and just put some NPC units in there that are not on a team. They just defend it or something, so that you can't get in there right away, but you could build maybe right up here quickly with a quick barracks and then try to rush into there and take it. But then you'd be competing against people that have a lot more resources available. So that's kind of the idea for the map, and I'm going to show you now how we could pull that in and build it out real quick and then set it up as an actual RTS. So let's minimize this, and I'm actually going to begin by just kicking off a brand new project. So this one, like I said, has been my experimentation area, and I'm going to keep using it to experiment, so trying different things out. But I want to have an actual real clean project now that's got what I want in it and show the process kind of step by step from the beginning without all of the skipped stuff that you normally miss. So let's see if my Unity Hub will open up. Come on, Unity Hub. Let's see why my phone keeps vibrating. Let's see. No idea. All right, well, it looks like it's gonna open up. Let's see, new project. We'll call this RTS and leave it in 3D for now. I think that's good, and hit create. We'll open this thing up. Yeah, so this is going to be more like an RTS with a stolen Fortnite mechanic, basically, right? With a forced goal of pushing people to the center of the storm, but essentially an RTS, or with that as the kind of core or the little twist there. That and the fact that it'll be kind of generals or command and conquer styled. At least that's the goal. Let's see. So lots of people in chat. I just want to say thanks and hello to everybody in chat. I see lots of people just talking and saying nice things. People ask how far to push on plan on pushing quality in this game. It depends. I mean, if it keeps going well and I like it, then as far as possible. If it comes together and I'm like, yeah, this was actually not a good idea and it's boring, then probably not very. So it just depends on whether or not it ends up being fun. The goal really is to get the core part done, make sure that the concept and the idea is actually fun and worth building out and worthwhile to do. And then if so, keep pushing it and make it really cool. My thought is that it will be very cool and it'll be awesome and I'll keep pushing on it for a long time. But, I want to verify that first. I don't want to say that I'm going to do it and find out that, oh yeah, this game idea was kind of boring and sucked. So hopefully though it's as fun as I'm expecting it will be. All right, so I want to start with pulling in that image that I've got. So let's grab it real quick. I'm going to go into my folder in here. Let's go to that videos folder that I just mentioned I had, and I'll pull in, oops, wrong folder. Got missed the S there. I'll pull in that JPEG. Where are you, JPEG? Scrolling up through this giant list. Anybody that's organized would lose their mind if they saw that. I'm just going to drop it into the root real quick. All right, then I'm going to create a plane. So go to game object, 3D object, and we'll actually not a plane, a quad. Sorry. Go create a quad. I think I'll scale it to be, I want my map, I think, to be 300 by 300, maybe 400 by 400. I'm going to go 400 by 400. And then I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. So I've got this 400 by 400 quad, rotated 90 degrees, and I'm just going to take the image and drop it right on there. So slap it on there. I've got like a top-down view, or can drag and pan of my map. Obviously, this is not a perfect view of my map, and my map isn't square, and I want it to be kind of square. So I think I'm going to just do a little bit of resizing. I'll hit T, resize it, shape it out there. Look at that. Now it's a square. That looks pretty good. Now I want to set up the terrain. So for the terrain, we're going to use the terrain toolkit setup. So there's actually some more advanced terrain tools available in the package manager. Let's see. Oops, wrong package manager window. And we'll go to package manager. And let's see if I can find these ones again. The terrain ones, I think they were in GitHub, weren't they? Let me take a peek real quick. Where's my package manager window? Not my assets. Okay, sorry. Let me pull this up. I'm getting distracted with that other window there. Okay, package manager. Why is the package manager window? Oh, is this way? Is this the right one? Ah, okay. That's why. So that's the package manager window for it. And we need to grab the terrain toolkit. What's it called? Terrain toolkit. I can never remember the name of it. Unity 3D. I'm going to pull up the actual page that shows it and shows you how to grab it and pull it in. So if anybody wants to follow along, you can do that. Is it right on this one? No. Where was the correct one? They've got a couple different links here. Getting start. Is it this one? Sorry, I'm just trying to find this and looking at chat at the same time. So first, let me go in and go to the advanced project settings and enable the pre-release packages. So this is in the package manager settings. It'll make it so that we can see the pre-release packages. And I think, does it just show up in here now? I can't remember now. Let's see. Or if I had to add it with a link. It's been a little while. Yeah, it's not in there. Where was that one? If anybody happens to remember where it is, send me the link. There's a link to pull in the package though. I just got to figure out where that thing was again. Getting started. It says it's in the package manager. Why don't I see it here? Maybe I need to restart. Let me double check that. Is that what it said there? Advanced project settings. No. Why does it not show up there? I'm trying to remember why it's not showing up. So it's not in the Unity packages. I can't remember if I added it as a package now or if I did it somewhere else. If anybody happens, hey Jason, do you happen to remember where the install was for the terrain toolkit? This is terribly difficult to get started with. Window package manager, search for terrain tools. Did that. It's not there. Let me restart the Unity editor. I think it might just need a quick restart after. Actually, here, let me look at the package manager in this one again too. So in this one, in project, yeah, I've got my terrain. You see, in this one, you can see I've got the terrain tools right there. Where was the link? Does it have? I can't remember if does it show the link here? No. Okay, let's check it in the other Unity instance. We'll get it opened up. So the terrain tools. Oh, that's it. com.unity. I remember that. I actually had to paste this in as a. Thank you. I remember now. So this was a giant pain getting this set up to actually find the installer for it, or the package for it. So here it is. Thank you for sharing that nightmare, and Terrasum right after that. So go into the package manager, hit plus, and go to add package by name, and then paste in com.unity.terrain-tools. Hit add, and that's how I imported it. I totally forgot. It's been a little while, and it's such a weird weird setup. I did turn on preview packages, but I don't know why it still wasn't showing up. All right, with that, I want to also grab the sample assets. So I click the button here to grab the sample assets. Just gives me some terrain assets. It gives me a bunch of brushes, and some grass and other stuff. So this is the asset pack. I already have it, so I don't know why it's asking me to add it to my assets. Wait, that's not the one. Is that the package that I was grabbing? No, yeah. I don't know why it didn't, yeah, terrain tools, sample pack. Why did it not add it and download? Open in Unity, there we go. Tried it again a second time, that time it worked, all right. So import in the terrain tool sample assets. And this has a bunch of brushes, textures, and other stuff for painting out the terrain, building out the terrain in different ways. It's pretty handy. Definitely worth pulling in. All right, so now I've got both of those, and I want to create my actual terrain. And we're going to do it, instead of going to Game Object and 3D Object and Terrain, we're going to go to Window, Terrain, and Terrain Toolbox. Just pops up this fancy little terrain creation window. Let me make sure I can see myself on here. Everything's looking good. Okay. And then I just got to give it a size for my terrain and a starting position and stuff. I think I'm going to kick this off at like a 400 by 400. And do I want it to be 500 meters tall? Probably not. I'll probably make like, I don't know, 200 or 300. It doesn't need to be tall at all. I'm only going to go up maybe 10 meters. So, well, yeah, we'll go to like 200. That seems good. Let's see, terrain settings. Don't want to change any of these. Texture resolutions. I think I want to crank this up a little bit to 2048. And that was it. Was it the control? I always get these ones mixed up, and there's no tooltip on it here. Whatever. I'll leave this at 1024 for now, and I'm just gonna hit create and create. I can adjust that later when I need it. So there's my actual terrain object. Let's take my quad here now and just line this up over my terrain. And again, thanks Jason Story for this great tip on laying out my terrain. So I've got it kind of lined up over the terrain now, and I'm gonna switch to, let's go to top down only mode, zoom out, hit T. I'm gonna grab this and hold shift until I get a square that loosely matches with my my terrain. There we go. So that's pretty close to what I want there. Now, obviously it's not perfect, but give me a good idea of where I want my things to be. Now I'm going to just drop this quad down a little bit. Whoosh. And then I'm going to start painting on my actual terrain. Or actually, you know what I should do is probably just pull this up a little and then make it transparent. That would be good. Just drop in some alpha here. Set that to a transparent. There we go. So we can actually see through it and see the terrain, but still see the outline. All right, so let's make it not selectable. Go to the terrain and go to painting mode. In the painting mode, when you add in the terrain tools, all of this stuff changes. So the brush changes here. You see that it's got a different setting here. It's not just a size and a strength. It's got these little jitter options. It's got a slightly different slider, and it looks different. It's got rotation here and spacing. And the way that this works, the jitter just does some variation. So if you have strength in here set at 1 or 0.5, I don't know how it works exactly, but it'll vary some percentage based on how much you slide that up. Same with the size. If you have it set to this, like, let's just take a quick peek. Let me hide that quad and just zoom in real quick and show the painting. So if you're in here and you paint a height, let's do set height. And we've got it set to a height of 15, and I've got it painting, and I just click. It's just going to lock it like that, right? Keep clicking, and it's going to keep painting the spot underneath my mouse to 15. If I set the the jitter here up, you'll see that, whoa, that's a lot. Every time I do it, see how it changes sizes? It's a different size. Just so I don't know exactly how you would use it to paint like a perfect terrain, but that's kind of how it works. And the rotation does the same. It just rotates it every time. So you get a variation of the rotation every time based on those. I'm going to reset those all down to 0 though, because I don't need any of that. I'm going to set the height of the world to, I think, 10. And then hit flatten all. So just flattens the entire world out to 10 meters. So that way I've got a little bit of area to drop down if I want, but I start off not too high up in the air. And then I'm going to turn on my quad again. I'm going to move that quad up a bit. So let's go select it and move it up so it's above the world. Maybe put it at like 15. Actually, I'm going to put it at like 50. And then go up to straight top down. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. And then I'm going to select check the non-select option. That's already on. Go to my terrain and back into painting mode. So now I'm just going to paint up these corners, raise them up real quick and paint the general layout of the map. And then I'll texture it. Actually, yeah. No, let me texture it first. Let's add in a texture. I lied. I want to make it brown so that it's not this white on white and it's a little bit easier for me to tell what's going on. So I'm in the paint texture mode. So in paint, now you have a whole bunch of options with the terrain toolkit. I'll go to paint texture though, and then down here in the bottom section, it's kind of hidden. There's material and layers. Layers has the actual paint layers. This was a lot easier to find before, and now it's kind of like hidden down at the bottom. So if you're missing it, can't find it, that's where it is. I'm just going to hit add layer and use one of the pre-built layers. So I'll just use dirt. There we go. All right. Now that I've got dirt, I'm going to go into painting height. So I'll switch back to set height. Oh, you guys might not have seen me pick the dirt option there, huh? Let me just show it real quick. I drag my head over here, and let's go just take a look at that paint texture. So paint texture here, you go hit add layer, and then you get a pop-up, pick the one that you want. Here, let's add some moss too. Now I've got dirt and moss. Dirt was my default, so that's one that's down there. All right, let's go into paint height, or set height. So I'll set height, and first thing I want to do is raise these up like 10 meters. So I'll set the height here to 20. Got my paintbrush set to a 1. Brush size is relatively big. I think I want to just go with a round brush and start painting. All right, got one corner up. Let's do this next one, and it's a little hard to see. I can see it easily on my screen, but there you can probably see the shadows on that one. Let's try this one here. And then we got one more corner up here to do. All right, let's go take a quick peek at that. We'll go into, let's see, just double click on it. Go see what this looks like. Yeah, that's pretty close to what I was thinking. I think that's good for the space. All right, let's go back to that top-down mode, and let me show you the way that we're going to make the ramps, because the ramps are actually really simple to create too. And this is one of the things that's in that cool terrain kit. So if I go to Sculpt and choose Bridge, what I can do is hold Control. Actually, I want to crank up the size of this brush. Let's zoom in a bit here and go down here. So I want to go from here down to here and make kind of a ramp. So if you hold S while you're in here, you can actually scroll and adjust the size. And then what is it? A adjusts the strength too. And then D for rotation doesn't make a difference on a circle though. So let's scale up the size of that just a little bit. And what we're gonna do is hold Control, click right here, not hold Control, and click here. And now I've got a ramp. Pretty cool. Let's see. Well, I'm gonna make a couple of them, then we'll go take a look. So here I'll hold Control, release Control, click. Hold Control, release it, click. Hold Control, release it, click. Hold Control, yep, release it, click. Hold Control. Same thing. And let's do it for these other ramps. Whoops. Undo. Control Z. I didn't hold Control. Hold Control. Click. 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 I don't like that one. Hold Control. Click. And hold Control and click. Ooh, I don't like that one either. It's too short. So hold Control and click. All right. Let's go take a look at these. See how they look. And there we go. I've got some basic ramps. So I've got my 4 bases now with very simple ramps set up, starting to come together. Let's see. Just started with a base. Okay. I definitely was thinking, yeah, civilian buildings for sure, and probably in this center area. In fact, let's build out the center area as well. So we've got on the map here, this is going to be where people will fight over here, right there in the middle, and I can kind of see it now. I probably don't need my quad outline right now, so I can just take that away, go to the top, and just draw it right here in the center. I think I'll go with that. This hexagon size, so just make it bigger, scale it up a bit, and put it maybe right about, whoops, Control Z. I don't want to be sculpting a bridge. I want to be setting height. We'll set some height here and just build out an area, I don't know, right around there, around that size. And then let's do some ramps out of that thing too. So do a sculpt, do a bridge, shrink this way, way down, and I think I want to go with the round again. Control, click, and control and click. There we go. 2 entrances, 1 from each side to go into that base. And maybe I would do some from the other sides too. I don't know. Yeah, why not? Let's just do a couple, do lots of entrances to get into there. Make it really contested. All right, I really don't like the way that this texture looks though, so I want to do a little bit of a change to it. Let's do a quick update here. Let's add in some more layers. Let's add in a rock, add in a sand, and let's do a little bit of painting here. Fix this up. Okay, so I think I want actually the base layer to be, I don't want it to be that moss, no. I don't really want it to be this dirt either though, because this dirt looks so rocky. And yeah, just not, I don't know. I don't know what I want to use here for the terrain. Let's try this. What's the rock? Ooh, no. Okay, I think I might pull in some terrain textures that I can use, which is probably not the most optimal thing, but it's one of those things that I just get this urge to clean them up a little bit and just make it look a little bit more like what I actually want for a map. So I don't know, maybe I'll grab some textures real quick and then we'll do a quick blending. You know, yeah, let me show how to do the little blending script. Let's pull in the blending script example from Unity's terrain tool section, because or their terrain setup, because I think that's an interesting one, and maybe at the very least people will learn something real quick. If you get nothing else from this, you will learn how to write to terrain at runtime. It's actually really easy to do. So terrain data, and we want to use these set alpha maps. All right, so here we go. Let's pull this up. And let me move my big ol' head out of the way and get that kind of over here. So when you access the terrain object, what you can do in a script, and what I'll show you real quick in their example script, is you can go through and modify the terrain data part of that terrain object. And when you modify that terrain data and swap out the maps for the layers, you can actually switch out the blending. You can do the same for the tree details, the trees, the details, the height, and everything else. So you can go through and modify the actual data of the terrain and have it actually adjust at runtime. And you can do it at runtime and edit time. There are kind of 2 different things, and I'll talk probably more about that if I do a full terrain video, because by default it's going to actually modify and save the terrain data. So you make these terrain change modifications. Well, if you make the terrain change modifications that we're going to do and you want to do them at runtime, you just need to make a copy of the terrain data and use that so that you're not modifying the existing terrain data. And you just swap in the terrain data. There's a method to copy a terrain data. I'll talk about that later. I'm going to copy this example though. The way that this one works is it's set up to blend 2 textures based on the steepness. So if you look at it, let's take a real quick look at the code. It creates a 3-dimensional array of floats, which is the X and Y coordinates of the point on the map. So if you look at let's jump into Unity real quick. If you look at your terrain from the top down, when we paint terrain, like I paint a little spot here, it's actually painting a weight at the vertexes around this. So it's painting in a different weight for this sand layer into those vertices. And then that's based on the strength. So if I put it at 0.5, it's actually just putting in a whatever 0.38 in there for the value of the third part of the array that you're about to see. So let's jump back over to that array. So it's got the X and Y coordinates of where I clicked or where all of the points that are covered by my brush are. And then it's got the third part right here, which is the layer. So it's got the XY coordinate and then every layer that exists there. Right now, this script is only meant to handle 2 layers, and if you run it with more than 2, it'll actually give you an error. So I'm going to delete down to 2 layers, or we could change it later. And then what it does is it'll get the steepness here into an angle, and then it puts in the value here. So map is just that 3-dimensional array. So for the first layer, it's putting in the fraction here, and for the second layer, it's putting in 1 minus the fraction. So you're getting one or half of it or some percentage of it with the first layer and the other percentage on the other layer based on the steepness of the angle. And then it calls set alpha map. So when you do this, you build out the map, and you can build it out for the entire map like this thing's doing, or just a portion of it. Give it the coordinates. Since this one's doing the entire map, it does 0, 0 because it's going to cover from there all the way across, and then you pass in the map, and that sets the data. If you just want to set in a small amount of data, you could just set it at that small section, and you don't have to actually update the entire map, which I assume is dramatically faster, but I haven't actually profiled it, but I can't imagine that it wouldn't be. All right, let's jump in and make it so that we can run that code real quick. Let's go, actually here, I'm going to delete out my moss layer. Let's remove that layer, and let's remove the, maybe I want to go with sand and rock. Let me see, sand, doesn't look very sandy. And maybe it's just the resolution of it. I think I'll just go dirt and rock. Okay, let's just do that for now. I'll remove that. I'm definitely going to change these textures out, but I want to show the script first because I think that that's the entertaining or the more useful part, the educational part where everybody will at least learn something. So let's go add in a new script. I'll name it example because that's just the name of their script. We'll drop it on, and then we'll just run it, and you'll see what it does. To just paint up these slopes. Let's see, trust and open. It's going to open up in Rider. I'm going to take a drink. I'm thirsty. Sorry, just watching, looking through chat. And just going to say hello out there, everybody. Somebody asked if an RTX 3060 will handle GameDev. Definitely. Without a doubt. You can GameDev on almost any video card, as long as it supports the features that your game needs, which most of them do, you'll be pretty much fine. It's generally better not to develop on something that's too fast, because then you end up not optimizing and not realizing there are performance issues. So I wouldn't worry about developing on a system like that. It should work totally fine. All right, so I've set up my example script here. I just pasted it in. I realized I wasn't talking about what I was doing at all there. I pasted in the example script into example.cs, and I'm going to go add it to the terrain object. So select the terrain. Let's just minimize the terrain. Oh, I've got it on here already. I'll just assign the terrain. I can't remember. Does this do a get component? Nope, it doesn't do it. So I need to actually assign that. We'll hit play in the start method. It's going to, well, see what it does. Let's watch. Go to scene view. And it should have, well, I guess it kind of painted them. God, this just does not look right at all. Let me try swapping the material order here. Bam, there we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, I had them backwards. So it's a little bit better. It's got the rocks there. I still don't really like the rock. I don't know. I'm gonna go in and find a different set of textures here. Let's run that again. The sand and dirt. I want to see if it's actually doing the blending right. It should be. It was in my other one. No, it's doing something weird. Oh, it's all offset. Interesting. I'm not sure what happened there. Well, anyway, that's how it's supposed to work, and it was working before. It looks like something is offset by a little bit, and I'm not sure what it is. I wonder if it's something to do with my texture or not my texture, but my terrain settings. But they're just the default. I don't know. Okay, let's go find. Let's pull in RTS engine. I think I don't want to play with terrain too much. I don't want to spend too much time just painting terrain and making it look goofy. Here, let me. I do want to paint the edges of this thing around a little bit though. It's so weird that that's called sand. It doesn't look like sand to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird on my sand. Add in some edges here, and I think I'll show the erosion tool a little bit, and then we'll dive into RTS engine. I think that'll be a good way to go. So if you go into the erosion section under here, you can go to paint. There are a couple options. There's always the smooth height, so you could always do smooth height, and then you could adjust, again, hold S to adjust size and hold A to adjust the strength, and you could use this to kind of do some blending and some smoothing, which is usually the way that I would go about doing it. But they added in a couple other ones here. There's a hydraulic one, which does a slightly, you can see let me just show the differences here. Let's go over here, Control Z. So if I do it with the hydraulic one, I guess it's supposed to be more like water kind of running over it, which makes sense. It's relatively smooth. And then there's a erosion that was thermal, which I guess like it melting. Looks somewhat similar, but it seems like it dips down a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly how they work differently. And then the final one was wind, which is actually pretty different. So the wind one, the rotation matters a lot. So it actually looks like if you look at it, it looks like things got blown in a direction, which is fine for some stuff. Like I could do a ramp going up that way, or if I want it to actually look like wind, by doing it like coming down and stuff, it looked really weird when I was playing with it. But I thought it was kind of an interesting one too, because you can rotate it and change it and just do a little bit of smoothing. Probably makes a lot of sense for sand. I don't know. Anyway, let's smooth this thing out just a little bit. I think I'll use the hydraulic one a little bit on here. And then I'm going to pull in RTS engine and start getting it set up as an actual RTS level and go through a bit of that process. So we'll save. And then let's go into Window and Package Manager. And I'm going to find that RTS and look for RTS engine. So I'm going to import this one in, and then just jump back into, I'm going to jump into my Milanote board again real quick. If I can find it. There we go. In this one. And I guess that's kind of loosely done. I mean, I still want to set up my resources and stuff for it, but I've kind of got that figured out, and I've kind of got my import and building the map done. So I think now I want to change this up a little bit. I want to re-import RTS engine, set up map on playable level, and test versus NPC. So these are the next things I want to do. So, oh, actually, these are my in progress. Those should be moved over to completed. A lot of the time, I'll just delete things out of here. But since I'm sharing these, I figured I'd make a completed board. Most of the time, I'll just hit yes and delete my completed tasks because nobody else cares about them and wants to see them. But since I've got this board shared, and there's a link in chat and then I think in the description, so you can go check out the board if you want to follow along. All right, so let's re-import RTS engine. So this is again going to be the current version, not the beta one. I'm going to pull that in. We'll go through it again, just kind of get this process down before switching over to the beta one in the probably in the next stream or something. All right, let's minimize, jump back into Unity. Oh, there we go, and let it import. It wants to, so it's going to overwrite my project settings. It's, I think, primarily getting rid of layers and tag settings and stuff that it's pulling in. I don't know what else is in there, but I made a new project, so it wouldn't matter. All right, let's see. I got a bunch of messages popping up. Do I have lunch plans? No. Let's reply to that one. And see what else was popping up here. Didn't look like any emergencies. Good. Star Wars rug is on its way. I fill the little Star Wars area over there that doesn't have a rug. And here, let's change up that mode there. Let's get that on green. There we go. A little bit better. So it looks like Jason said he keeps his completed tasks until the end of the week and then clears them out on Monday. That makes sense. Get an idea of what you've done and what you've knocked out. I feel like I always have such a big list of tasks to do. I just got just let them go. There's always something else. All right, let's see. So that's imported in, and then let's see. Was there anything else in here? I don't think there was. That I needed to grab. Nope. All right, with that, I should be able to now, let's save my scene. Let's do save as to save my level. I'm going to go into the scenes folder, and I'm going to call this 4-player map. And then I'm going to hit RTS engine, configure new map. So I think that when I do that, it's actually going to, yeah, I deleted my terrain. That's what I was afraid of. All right, so let's, what do I want to do? I guess I could probably just I could re-add the terrain. So I could take in my terrain, RTS engine. Here, let me, let's see. Oh, wait, did that write over my, nope, didn't. Okay, so I've got my map here. Let's do it this way. I'm gonna open up my sample scene. Oh, I have it in the sample scene too. What? I have my terrain right here? Okay. All right, let's go back into the 4-player map, RTS engine, configure new map. I'm going to take the sample scene, grab that terrain group, and just drop it in there as a child of the terrain, and then unload the sample scene. Trying to think of the fastest and easiest way to get that done. All right, so now I've got my terrain there. The layer for this definitely needs to be set to terrain, so I'll hit change and change children. All right, I don't think I needed to have anything else in there. Let me see. Let's save. Let's go take a look at the example scenes again. It's been a little while since I jumped in here, and I want to make sure that we go through this right. So we've got the menu scenes. I'm going to open up the main menu scene, hit play, and just try it out again. Be nice if I had Baby Yoda sitting next to me during the stream. He's right here. He's hanging out right by the mug, chilling. It's funny. Okay, so let's see. Let's hit single player game. I don't need to pick anything. We'll just hit add faction, start game. I just want to make sure this thing actually launches again and works. All right, so this is the demo map setup. Got a dude here. He can run around. He can build capitals or build whatever those are. A library. And I can zoom in and out. Okay. So now we just need to make sure that the real map works like that demo map. So let's go into the demo map. Let's see, where is that at? Single player, not single player menu. What's this one? This is probably the character selection, bot selection stuff. Okay. Cool. Actually, let's see. How does this one work? The single player menu. How does it pick what level to load into? Maybe I just want this to load into my level so that I can actually go through a little bit of a flow too and follow their flow to get a little bit more used to it and see what that's like. So, okay, demo maps right here. Bam, we'll just add in my own map. All right, so this is called 4-player map. I'll copy the name and I'll call this my custom 4-player map. Minimum factions 2. I'll leave the default values even though it's called 4, just because I'm not 100% sure what this requires, and I want to make sure that it starts up first before I go in and change it. So let's hit play on the single player map. And okay, there we go. I've got 4-player map as the default. We'll hit start game. Starting game. Couldn't be loaded because it's not added to the build settings. That makes a lot of sense. File, build settings. And we just need to add in our new map. So that's under our scenes section. 4-player map. Drop that in. I don't know what this deleted one is. Can probably just delete that out. Close that, hit file and save project, and then play. Let's try this one. All right, so I've got my 4-player map selected here. Got my factions. I'll hit start game. Okay, well, it got a little bit closer. We got a couple errors though. So, okay, we've got to set up some slots for the faction. So there's a little bit more actual RTS engine setup that we need to go through. Let's go through that now. Let's open up the demo scene real quick. Actually, let's open up our real map and go to RTS engine, and we've got, let's see, configure the new map. We need to set up the starting points and stuff, and I'm trying to remember all of the stuff that we need to do for the initial setup. Let's actually just open up the docs real quick. Pop in and take another quick peek at it because it's been just a little while. So set up a new map scene. Set up a new scene. General structure, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Configure a new map. We did that. And then at the top we have, okay. Now export structure. Got the manager. So the manager section, if you didn't see the past streams, it's got all of the different managers that have a lot of kind of the core code for the game and a lot of the settings in there. So if you're looking at stuff and you just kind of want to experiment, look around, most of the things you need are under the manager. Or if something's going wrong and you need to debug it, most of the things that I found were in one of these managers. Or you could at least find out where to look from one of them. All right, so we've got the game manager for setting up faction slots, which is probably where I need to set things up. Resources, terrain, and then cameras, factions, and the campus. Okay, so where's the part? It said this was the setup instruction. So starting with the game manager, look at the field. This is not a setup. Okay, let's see. We need to add faction slots. Okay, let's go through that. Let's go take a look and see if those slots are set up already. And set this up once before, kind of went through it, and I want to go through this once again. So we've got our air terrain set up. Okay, let's go to game manager, and then we've got faction slots. This is the faction slots, and yeah, we've got one. So add 1, 2, 3. All right, let's hit play. And oh, actually, I need to go back to the other menu to hit play and see if it worked. Oh, more than one faction labeled as player controlled. That's right, because there's a checkbox for whether or not it's the player controlled one. I only want one of them to be the player controlled. Let's see, go back. Oh, I'm on the first one. First one I want player controlled. Second one not. So we'll look at the element ID right there. It's changing. It's a little bit hard to see. And the third one not. So I'll call this bot 2. I'll just name them bot 1, and we'll call this player. They need a capital building. So I think that I need to set those all up for the players. Let's just play real quick and double check. Oh, no, it looks like it actually started with no errors. I thought it was going to give a problem because it didn't have a starting building. Let's do a save and go into that scene real quick. So RTS, single player menu, play. That's a nice little shortcut, by the way. And we'll hit, oh, I don't want to load the demo map. No. Did I break my menu? I probably didn't save it. Let's go in here. Demo map. Yeah, I didn't save my other map. Let's add in the other one. 4-player map. Copy paste. My custom 4-player map. Be 2 to 3 factions. Faction types. Yeah, we'll leave those all the same. And we'll make that the default. And this time I'll save and play. By the way, if you're still watching, make sure that you hit the like button and share and all that stuff. I don't think I've asked people to do that yet, so I got to remember to do it every now and then. Okay, let's hit start. Oh, was it interesting? It's not sure what it did. 4-player map is loading, huh? It's like it never finished loading. Interesting. No errors. No warnings. Very interesting. I'm not sure what happened there. All right, let's go into that map. Let's go actually set the map up. So I'm going to put in some buildings and see if that just fixes it. Again, I'm going to switch to the newer version of RTS engine, so I don't want to spend too much. Wait, what happened to my... Oh, no. What have I done? I broke my level. So I saved my map. Somehow my map is now my menu. and I don't know how that happened. Let's see if I can. This is why source control is good. I would have been able to undo that. All right, let's fix that up. I don't know what I did. Luckily, I got this other sample scene here, so I'm going to go back in here. We'll just recreate a new map. I'll take my sample scene. I'll copy that terrain and move it in here. This is an easy one to fix. Luckily, we're early on. I am going to add things to source control right after this. Wait, actually, hold on. Why is that? Okay, let's do it this way. Move it over there. And then why is this terrain scaled all freaking weird? Why is this scaled at 12? That's probably why my... no, that wasn't painted though. I don't know why this air terrain is weird. Let's just fix this. I don't like having that scaled up strange unless there's some weird reason for it and then I'm breaking everything. But let's fix it anyway. All right, so I've got my terrain dropped in. I'm going to unload this scene. Let's just hit remove. Don't save. I'll save this scene. We'll go into the managers, go to the game manager. We'll go add in 2 more entries that are for the NPCs. First one will be named player. Leave player controlled checked. Second one will be bot 1, and I'm going to give them a different color. They'll be yellow and not player controlled. And then we'll do bot 2, and this one will be maybe red and not player controlled. There we go. We'll save that. And then I'm going to try going back into... Oh, you know what happened? I bet when I hit single player menu, it converted my level to a single player menu. What was I doing? That was a mistake. I thought it was opening the menu. All right, let's hit play and try this out. Make sure that worked. And then... There we go. Now I loaded into it. So there's some errors, but everything's okay. A little bit better. I still need to fix the textures. I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to go into collaborate now and actually do a commit. So let's just log in real quick. We'll get our organization, create a project ID. Let's see. And go to collaborate and hit on. Be able to actually commit this in, so that way when I break things again in a few minutes or in the next hour or so, I can just go back and revert it and it won't be such a pain. All right, so there's a new Unity Collaborate package available. Let's install it. Minimize our issues. Did it not install? Okay, I guess we won't install it. And I'll just say this is our initial map. Oh, there it is installing. This would be like our initial commit for the map. Oh, can I turn off slow mode? I can turn off slow mode, yeah, sorry. The only reason I leave it on is because occasionally people decide to start spamming for no reason. If they just get bored. Let me turn that back on or off. Let's see, where's the setting for that sucker? All right. Okay, let's publish our changes. So this would be our initial commit of map and RTS engine and publish. And checking out the chat over there too. Whew. Might have to grab a snack while we work on this. Somebody asked if I prefer Rider or Visual Studio. Definitely Rider now. I've used Visual Studio for, I don't know, 15 years or something, and it's great and all, but Rider's just generally better for Unity development. From every aspect of it seems to be better for Unity development, so generally just stick with it. Other than the fact that it's not free. That's the one aspect that's not better. All right, let's see. We're almost done submitting changes. This is a big update. I guess there's a lot of art in here. And what do I want to do next? So, oh, we need to go through and actually make our level work. So as soon as this finishes, we'll go in and set up some starting buildings, some capital buildings, get the units running around, and see if we can fight some NPCs over that center area. Kind of get that part up and running and working. That's kind of the, let's see, let's go into our goal. So in progress, oops, re-import RTS engine. That's what we're working on. And then set up map on play. Actually, this is kind of done. Move that over. And I'm setting up the map on the actual, as a playable level. So not on, let's replace that word as, because that's what we want it to be. So our map is going to become a actual level where we can see it and then fight against an NPC. Let's see if it's done. Looks like it almost finished. 75%. Where can I improve coding? That's a good question. I'd say just about anywhere that you can find code. I mean, really, you improve your coding skills by doing a lot of coding. Either watching people code. Watching people helps a little bit, seeing how people do things and what they put together. But actually, writing code yourself is probably the best way to improve it. Now, for good websites, I don't know. I prefer video and YouTube and stuff now because it tends to be easier to consume, and I can kind of get a little bit more from it and understand more. But there's some blog posts too and some good blog sites. Catlight Coding is a really good blog site for more advanced coding features and functionality if you're looking at that kind of stuff. I don't know. There's lots of stuff. You can check out my stuff down below too if you're curious. But what board software is that? I'm not sure what that's about. So thanks for helping me out. Didn't know parenting characters to a platform. Oh yeah, that's definitely a cool trick. So if you move something, all of its children move along with it, and comes in really handy when you're making like a platformer, moving things around, or you want to have something move with like a moving ground. A lot of times, so just parent the object to that one. It's a cool little trick. The board software. Sorry, Millinote. You go to millinote.com. There's a link in the page down, or there's a link in the description. Now I get it. The boards that I'm creating. That makes sense. I was thinking of electronic boards for some reason. All right, so let's see. We'll minimize that. I want to minimize Writer for now, and minimize Millinote, and jump back into Unity because I think that it is done. Yep, it's done committing. Let's go into our scenes now, and let's open up a scene. So go into our 4-player map, and I want to actually set up some of the buildings. So the way that the buildings were set up, oh, here you can see there's a couple of them already down below. Let's move those 2 up. Take the test building and the test unit and just move them up. So just holding control and dragging to move them right up here to, what is this, a height of 39? Looks like that gets us right up here on top of one of these ledges. So on top of part of the map. And I think I'll put player building, let's call this player building. And player unit. Then what we could do is go into our managers, and we can actually assign those. So in our game manager, it's got a spot to assign the capital building, which would be our first building. I don't really want to use these little empty test buildings though, because they're kind of useless. I think that they're not useless, but they're a starting point, but not what I want to go for. I want to go for the actual buildings that they have made so I can test it out. So I'm going to go into their prefabs, which I believe are in buildings. So go to buildings, and then resources, prefabs, and then take a capital. And I'm just going to drop that out here. And this will be the player capital. And then I'll do a couple more of those. So I'm going to take this capital and make it a child of factions. And then let's zoom out. I'm going to put the other ones right next to it for now, and then I'll move them away later on. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll put them down here in the center. Nah, I'm going to put them up here on this cliff area. So this will be the player capital. I'll duplicate it. This will be bot 1 capital. And I'll duplicate it. And we'll make a bot 2 capital. Well, let's put this one kind of over here. Start them off nice and close. I don't want to be scrolling around a lot. All right, then if we look at the buildings, I believe they've got quite a few options, including like their starting faction number. Yep, faction ID. So faction ID for this will be 2. Faction ID for bot 1 capital will be 1. And then if we go to the managers and go find our game manager, we can set those as the capital building. So entry 1, the player building will be, or player capital will be player capital. And the look at position is actually going to be that player capital too. I don't want it to look at the old building. I want it to look at the new one. All right, bot 1, their capital building and their look at building, and then bot 2. Assign and assign. All right. I think I can get rid of these 2 player buildings, delete those out, save, and let's just hit play and see where this goes. Okay, so my camera is way too close. That's something I can deal with though and adjust. And this building looks like it's under construction. Oh, okay. Couple things going on here. My camera is the wrong way. Not a problem. My player building is only half built, probably because of this error here. And actually, I guess that's pretty much it. So let's see. What was the error here? Let's just go take a look at this one. So it looks to spawn faction entities. Oh, you know what? It's trying to spawn the building, but the building is probably not in the entities because it set it up for the let's see. Oh, this bug again. So it's got the faction entities are missing here. There's an issue with the inspector. It's just this version of Unity. I think I just need to switch Unity versions and it'll fix it. But I need to take the capital building there, and then faction entities. What was the other one? The unit. Where's that guy at? Under units, resources, prefabs, and I believe it's the villager. Yeah. So let's go take the villager and make him a default faction unit. I think I'm going to have to do that for all 3 of them, though. I have to go through this. Yeah. Default faction entities. Instances. Oh, wait. Oh, actually, no. Sorry, that's wrong. I'm not supposed to do the prefabs there. I remember. For this one, I've got to do the actual instances. So let's remove that instance. And this is bot 1. It'll take the bot 1 capital. I'm getting myself mixed up here and giving you guys some bad advice there. So I got to remove that one, take bot 2 capital, drag that there, and then go back to the first one, default faction entities. And it's got 2 spots because it had a unit there. I'm just going to start with it, just a building without a unit. I think that should work. Just setting 1 in each of those, saving and playing. All right, no error. I see my bases are looking like they exist. Do they exist? Hold on, nope. They're not finished. There must be an option for that I'm missing. Let's find it. Let's go to the main camera manager first though, and let's adjust this because the angle here is definitely not what I want. The direction of the map, and then the size and the height too. So I think I want this to be, because right now we're coming in at, I guess this angle, which is totally fine. I just need to get the height up higher and then move them and make it kind of match with my view of the scene. Okay, so initial height, I think I want to maybe crank that up to like a 60. Put the max height to a 80, and I don't know what the minimum. I think part of it is that I bumped up that terrain there, so I need to get the actual camera up high enough. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, there we go. Now I can see my base and I can see the two enemy bases. All right, now why are these things not getting set all the way up? Is it just because I don't have a villager there? Let's make a villager for each one and see if that magically fixes it. Just take in a villager, player villager, and I'm gonna go inspector. Do I need to change anything? I don't think so. I think just duplicate him twice or duplicate him once. Bot 1 villager and duplicate and make a bot 2 one. Set their faction IDs. Where's that at? Faction ID to 2, faction ID to 1, and then I'm going to go into the game manager and add them as default faction entities as well. So bot 2 will have 2 entities. Bot 1 will get 2 entities. And the player will get 2 entities. Where's the player? Go back to the player. We'll add in that villager there. All right, save and play. See if my buildings actually finish up. So somebody's asking about territory regions that expand and collapse, or as buildings are there. This system already kind of does that. It has a radius area that it expands out your base basically and your area of control. And I think that's one of the settings just directly on the buildings here. If you go through their code, you can kind of see how it works. Yeah, radius right here. And this one, it's a little bit complicated from what I remember on how it was actually set up and working, but it's just calculating out if you're within the right radius of any of the buildings. I'm pretty sure it was this one that was the value that it was using. Now, why are these? I think there's an option to be pre-completed on the buildings. Let me see. What am I missing here? There was something here. Not free. Free means that it's not owned by anything. Max health, damage, destroyed. All right, what am I missing here? If anybody happens to know in chat, let me know too. If you can see what it is that I've missed here. For some reason, these buildings are not auto-completed, and I'm not sure why. Positive that's not the option. There's some setting in here that makes them autocomplete, or something else that I've missed. Wait, what's this one? Interesting. So we got bot 2, and the player lower. I'm not sure what that means. So yeah, I'm not sure what the option is. What did I miss here? Not in the construction states. The building states are like the visuals for when the things are coming up and down. Oh, placed by default. There it is. Thank you. Capital building placed by default. There we go. And placed by default. Perfect. Thank you. It's in the building placer. That makes sense. I think that is the correct option. Yep, there we go. Now my building is done and built. And I've got 2 enemy bots. Let's see if I can build my unit. I got an error here. I'm guessing something related to one of the bots. The villagers. Oh, it's okay. A couple things here. So first, let's put these villagers in the correct position. I left them down here at the bottom of the world. So bot 1 villager, I'm going to move it to bot 1 capital. Reset the position. And then move him just outside of it. And then I'll do the same for bot 2. I'm going to move him out so he's not a child of it anymore. Do the same for bot 2. Reset the position. Just being lazy here on the dragging of things. And then I'll move him out. And then we'll take him to be not a child anymore. Now drag that out like that. Now the reason that they're not able to move, I didn't set up my terrain to be navigatable. Or navigable. So we'll go to the navigation window, which is under window and then AI and navigation, and then just hit bake. I should bake out a nav mesh for my terrain, and my unit should be able to move. Oh, I need to move my player villager too. Put that next to the player capital inspector. I'm kind of losing my scale there, so it's going to be a little bit bigger. Whatever. I got larger villagers. I'll deal with it later. We'll move that guy over to there, and actually let's move him kind of over here. Save and play. Let's see why my phone's vibrating. Oh, it's turning out to be a good day. Oh, all right. Wife sent me a picture of some gummy Skittles. So. All right, so let's see, where are we at? We've got our unit that disappeared. I don't know why. And we've got some NPC units that are throwing in there. Oh, okay. So an item has been created. Create villager. Okay, that's an error I remember dealing with before from having the same building assigned multiple times. So that issue came last time I remember seeing this issue where it said an item had been created. It was because I'd accidentally assigned the same thing in multiple spots. I don't see that here. Let's see. Maybe under the starting factions, bot 2 capital, bot 1 capital. No. Okay. So what is a create villager? That's on these capitals. Let me try to, I'm going to disable the 2 bot capitals for a moment. Let's go uncheck and play. All right, so we can build a unit. Just want to make sure this unit actually builds. Okay, got a unit here that built. And I think the issue, I'm not sure if the issue is with my units and the navigation. Why is he not able to move? What's that nav mesh look like now? Where's this dude? Move him right over here. I wonder if there's something in my navigation mesh that's wrong. Okay, let's take a little shortcut here. Let's do a save. I'm gonna shortcut this so we can get it up and running and actually have it functional, because something weird going on there. I've definitely missed something, and I don't want to debug it live, because to be honest, I think debugging stuff live can be relatively boring for most people to watch. So let's jump in and let's go into our scenes here. Show you the quick way to cheat through this. So we'll go into our demo scene, not that demo, not scenes. That's campaigns. Where's our map here? Maps, there we go. Maps, go into the demo map. We'll go find the actual demo map. I think it's this one right here. This is the multiplayer map. I'm gonna duplicate this map, take the copy of it and drag it into my own scenes folder, and we're just gonna use that as the kind of the basis here. And I'll just take my terrain, drag it in, and we'll use those starting the already set up units in there. So oh wait, you don't have to watch me stumble through finding out which one is missing or which random setting is missing there. So we've got our demo map 1 open. I'll pull up my 4-player map. I'm going to take my terrain object and just drag that one in. And then we'll unload and remove this. Oh, hey, thanks, Mark. Thanks. Yeah, it makes me feel better. Yeah, it's never super smooth when you're going through this process. I think a lot of the time you watch a video or an edited thing and it looks like it is, but stuff goes wrong all the time when you're trying to figure this stuff out and get it right, especially going through new systems and stuff. When you're not doing something you've done dozens of times, expect this to happen relatively regularly. All right, so we've got our terrain here. Let's see, let's go find the terrain. It is way over here. Wait, why is that? That's strange. Why is the terrain object on this thing so far off? All right, zero this out, reset, and then we'll make it a child. And then we'll go down here. Let's see. I just want to swap out this terrain down below completely. Oh, I guess I'll take this one, drag it down. I'm just going to kind of move it in place so that some of the things show up there at first, so it's easier to deal with. All right, we'll move this one over here. And the stuff should be mostly on screen, I think. I think the existing units will be there. Let's see. Wait, what's in here? Walkable tiles. What are all of these? Hold on. I need to take another quick peek at these real quick. Let me hide my terrain group's visibility. What did I miss here with these? Oh, okay. I see. The way that this terrain is built, it's built out of tiles. Okay, never mind. I thought I was missing something. That there was some extra bit of stuff there, but it's actually just a terrain that's built out of pieces. Interesting. So all of these are a map of borders. Okay, I'll turn those off. And then these are just props that are in the environment. I guess I can leave those on for now. Don't really care about those too much. I just want to see my actual terrain. So let's turn on my terrain. Okay, we've got some random props here. I need to move the terrain up a little bit. So take this and just get it right here with like negative 55. And the positioning, not a huge deal. I'm going to adjust and redo all this stuff later on. But now I've got a terrain with some of their stuff on it. Let's save this off as demo map 1. And then let's go take a look. Actually, I'm going to hit play. Let's see if it works. Oh, wait, it's not going to work. I need to bake my navigation mesh. I'm going to stop playing. I'm going to bake my navigation mesh. And then I'm going to try it. So let's hit bake. And then we'll play and see if it works. All right, where is my... Oh, my starting building might be down here. Hold on, let's do a little bit of a movement here. So my initial building, let's see, go to factions, and we go to, I think capital 0 is the player one. Yeah, that's it right there. It's underneath the terrain. So I'm just going to I'm going to cheat and just move my terrain instead. Take the terrain group, and we'll just hit W, or go into the inspector here, and just drag it this away a little bit, so that my buildings are good. There we go. Now my building's not underground. Oh, I need to move this train down a tiny bit too. So take this and just go down a little bit. That looks better. Okay. I guess some of it's better, some of it's not, right? Because that present is... maybe the presents are supposed to float? I don't know. Or maybe that train was supposed to just go up. Let's see, what if this goes up a little... like that? Yeah, I'm going to go to the negative 56.5. Let's stick with that. We'll save and play. All right, we got a unit or a building. We can make some units. Let's see if that works. All right, this dude's out there. Got some audio. Just chopping down some trees. Okay. I can look at him. Okay, so a couple weird things going on there with that. Oh, I didn't rebake the nav mesh. Let's go back in, navigation, bake. It's like they're floating up above the ground. That's strange. All right, we'll play again. All right, let's get one of these guys out here. So we've got this unit. He's gonna go, let's see, make this dude go collect food. Okay, and then where are the enemies? There's a lot of resources and stuff here. Let's go through it. Let's try this out real quick. So make a healer or a converter. I'm gonna make one more villager. What's the rest? Let's see, the map. This feels really big. Okay, so a couple things here. I need to adjust. I don't like the angle of the map right now. It's got that, it's rotated to not match with what I'm actually, the way I've kind of designed it. Let me go back out to a zoomed out view. I'm still playing. I'm going to pause real quick. So if I go to pause mode and I go find my camera, I'll just go search for the camera up here. Find our main camera, hit F, and take a look at it. There we go. You can see it's kind of coming in at the 45-degree angle, so it's showing this view. And I think the view that I want to see, let's go to the inspector so I don't see all this nonsense, and hide out. Where's the UI here? Main canvas. Let's hide that. Okay. So what I want to see is a view that's more like, where is my base? Actually, I think I just want to pull everything down right into right here. So I'm going to grab all of the units and everything and just pull them into that area. And then move the camera so that it matches there and adjust the angle too. So first let's go to let's move all the buildings. So I'll take the capitals. Let's see, capital 0. What is this? Is this a minimap canvas? Let's hide that. Go away. What am I selecting now? What's this one? Oh, main canvas. Let's hide that too. Okay, and selection box canvas. I want to get rid of all these selecting things. I don't want to accidentally click the main canvas. Okay. All right, let's find these capitals. I got my capital 1. I'm going to put it right over here. Capital 0. Capital 1. Put here, that's bad guy number 1, and bad guy number 2 can go right over here, closer to the ledge. All right, the villagers, same, get them nice and close. Okay, and then let's fix that camera. So the camera is under my managers and then the main camera manager. So in here, I can adjust the initial angle, and I think I want this to be just 0 on the Y. That seems right. And then I would want to crank up this initial height again to maybe like a 40 and put that max to an 80. Save my scene, hit play. Somebody's asking if I use any part of dots. Not in this, not in anything lately, but on occasion when it's needed. It hasn't been something I've needed to use lately though. Okay, cool. So now we've got the 3 teams. We've got the bases. I want to get rid of a lot of all this stuff here because there's just a whole lot of noise and extra stuff here. I think these are harvestable resources maybe. Yeah, they are. So let's see. Can I just move those, or is that one group? Okay, it is. So I'm just gonna move a lot of this stuff kind of out of the way for a moment. Hopefully that was the only thing there. I feel like there's just way too many things just stacked up. It makes it very difficult to see. And then I'm going to put some grass in here, I think. Okay, some rocks. Lots and lots of resources here. What is this one? A portal. Oh, one of the free buildings. See, that's the kind of thing that would go up there. Let's let's do a vertex move. V. Drag it up there. Let's hit F. Here. Let's get it up like that. All right, there we go. We use oh, that's not the right spot. Let's drop it right here. Control Shift F. And I'm going to reset those. And then just drop it down. Okay, so we got a portal. We're going to use the portals as like the placeholder for the thing that can kick off the storm and start that off. So let's get the rest of these little resources moved out of the way. What's this one? Okay. And then I'm going to turn this to grass next. All right, let's switch this terrain up now to be more of a grass texture so that the things I think will show better. It'll just look a little bit cleaner and nicer. All right, let's see. That's under paint texture. So I got to go up here to terrain options, choose paint texture, and then we'll go choose a material or a layer. Not a material. Where's my setting? What am I missing? Paint texture. I'm right here. Where's where are my layers? Super confused. There should be an option for my layers here, and it's just missing. The materials here, but the layers one is disappeared. I'm not crazy, am I? Like, you guys don't see the layers either, right? Interesting. So let's go back into Paint. Yeah, there's no layers. So strange. Okay, I'm gonna restart Unity real quick. I don't know what's going on there. Actually, let's do a commit. So we started setting up a demo map. So set up demo map with terrain and 2 bots. They're getting that set up. Let's hit publish. Are you using a good animator? No, not right now. I'm not using any animator. I'm just using the animation stuff that was built in and came with it, and eventually I'll figure something out for the actual characters and the objects and stuff. Okay, let's reload this one. Just restarting my Unity project since that one bugged out. And again, for anybody that didn't see it at the beginning, this is kind of a closer version of the target goal for what the RTS will kind of loosely look like. Not necessarily like exactly like this, but more of a sci-fi theme. We're just using the initial stuff as a kind of a building point. I want to get it functional and stuff with their existing units before going through the process of swapping out the art form. I just wanted to go through this process here to make sure that everything was going to work and that it wasn't going to be too difficult to do the swap. Now that that's kind of verified, we're going through the process of pulling in their stuff in here in another project. So let's see if we have access. There we go, layers. All right, so we'll just change this layer. I think I want to swap this out, not have it be sand, but I'd really like a grass. So I think what we're going to do is just we're going to go to the asset store. Let's go window, asset store, or actually, you know what? I have some packages. We'll just go to the package manager and let's just search for terrain. So go to my assets and I'll look for some terrain. All right, and then for terrain textures, I kind of feel like just going with a cartoony one for now. I think it'll match the art style that I've got in here. When it's done, you'll be able to go back through and rewind and pause and rewatch the stuff. Somebody was asking about that functionality in there in the chat. So yeah, you'll be able to do that afterwards though. Once it's done and published and cleaned up a second. All right, so we've got our cartoon textures. It should be, I think I hit import. Maybe I just hit download. Did I hit import? Nope. Okay, let's hit import. Cartoon terrain textures. We'll use these suckers. Import them in. All right, and then let's go back to that terrain and do a quick layer change. So I'm going to add a new layer, or no, not add a new layer. We're going to create a new layer. I'm going to call this grass. I'll hit the create button, and then I'm going to go find a good grass that I want to use. I'm thinking something pretty green, maybe like a grass 5. Drag that up, and not there. Drag that up right there, and make that kind of the texture that I want to use. Okay, so the example script here, this thing is not working. I wonder what's going on with this one. Why this is not painting correctly, or why it was offset. Let's make this a context menu item. Let's just rename this method to paint instead of start. So that way I can just call it automatically and say t equals get component terrain. There we go. Make it so I don't have to find that terrain anymore. Or var t equals that. We'll do a build. Right now it's still only set for 2 textures. I think that'll work. I wanted to see really quickly what's going on there. If it's just something with the position of the terrain or the offset of the terrain or something going on that's easy to adjust or not. Let's see. Let's Inspector tab not active in terrain inspector. Okay, so click on that one. I'll go down. I'm going to remove that third layer. Right click and just hit paint. Yeah, it's still definitely wrong. Like, I mean, you can tell that that's supposed to be right there on the edge. It's just offset. So what are the inspector settings on this? Is this thing scaled weird or offset weird? I mean, it's definitely positioned weird, but that shouldn't be an issue. Huh. It's literally just offset. I wonder why it's offset. Is the get steepness wrong? Like it's getting the wrong value there, or something with the alpha? Let's see. Let me try taking a look at the terrain settings real quick. See if there's. Actually, let me double check that page first. Make sure they didn't say anything. Nope. Looks pretty straightforward. And again, this worked before, so I'm not sure why it's changed. Maybe it has something to do with my width and height. I really don't know. Height map. Yeah, like there's nothing that stands out to me. I can keep painting it and it's just, yeah. For some reason, it is not right. It's doing it's so sad too because I can see like how perfect it would be and how it would be blending in there. Oh, it's even rotated weird. Okay, that's strange. Hold on. There's something going on with the rotation of the thing. What if I just move this terrain out and make it not be a child of stuff? Move that out and then try it. Nope. Okay. Then make sure that it didn't have something to do with the parenting. I'm not sure what's wrong there. Anyway, let's just save and go through and clean this up a little bit manually, I guess. If anybody happens to know, by the way, please let me know. I'm really curious if anybody happens to know why that's offset and what I'm missing. I feel like that it's got to be something stupid and simple. It feels almost like it's rotated, like it's not going in the right order, but I don't understand how that would make sense or why that would be the case. There's nothing weird going on with the rotation of the terrain or anything. There's nothing that stands out that I can think of. So yeah, if it's obvious to you, please let me know in the chat. I'm kind of curious. All right, let's do. I guess we'll just go in and do a little bit of manual style painting then. So to manually paint it, it's actually really easy now. Go to this grass layer, and now you can just hold S and drag that size of the brush up. Drag it up, and I can make sure the strength is at 100. Actually, maybe yeah, I'm just going to paint it over, whatever. I was thinking I would just paint the whole thing really hard once, but I think I'll just do a quick brush job. And let's find the actual bases, because that's the part I care about. I don't care about the rest of the level yet. All right, we got our 3 right here. So paint this area up just a little bit. Give you kind of a rough idea of what we're looking for. So it'd be something like that. With then for this one, we'll change to a new layer. Let's call this rock that we'll create with an uppercase R, capital R, and let's go find a good cartoon rock. Let's see, where's a good one that'll work for like a cliff edge or something. A stone maybe. So many cool ones there. I feel like a real stone is probably maybe one like that, something like that. Let's go check that out. So here I'll drop this on. I'm gonna hit S, shrink the size down quite a bit, and hit A to shrink the strength down a little bit. Let's shrink that size a little bit more. Start adding. Yeah, that's okay. painting in just a little bit of rock. Let's drop that strength down more and the size even more. Get kind of a rough idea of what I was thinking. So it would be something kind of like that for the theme. And then let's add in a dirt layer too. Let's create some more. Let's call this a path. Create another one and use like some sort of a ground, like a dirt path type thing. I made that one. Do some paths up to the big area. So, oh, wrong one. Path. Whoosh. I think that's a little too small. Let's make that bigger. Something like that. Just get our rough paths in there. Again, the goal here, just get them fighting. I'm gonna draw some lines here so I can see where the different bases connect, and just get them fighting over the center. Kind of get this figured out. Let's save. I'm gonna go back into my Millinote board for a second. Just make sure that I am not getting myself too distracted. It's very easy to kind of get in there. So goal here, set up the map as a playable level. That's what we're working on. I'm going to get back to making sure that it actually becomes playable now. So we've got our characters there, or we've got our base there. We've got somewhat of a visible level. Let's hit play. And then see if we can build some units. Okay, so there's our 3 bases. Got our 3 units. Let me hit maximize on play. Make this a little bit bigger so everybody can see it better like I can. All right, so these are those not my units, right? Which ones are mine? I'm blue. Okay, so these are my units. They are standing around. Oh, that's just an orc, a free orc.
Hello.
Oh, they're just attacking us. Okay.
Hello.
There's my villager. Run, villager.
Hello.
Okay. I think I might need to fix my nav mesh real quick. So I'm being attacked by an orc.
Hello.
And then I can build a barracks.
Hello.
What happened to my...
Hello.
Build a round object or building center for the warehouse hasn't been selected. Okay. Let's stop playing. Okay. A couple things I need to fix. One is the grid thing. So if I hit play and I start to scroll around, I notice that like you'll see that you can't get around all the way across the map. Let me show you why that is and what's going on there. So go over here, and I think eventually... Yeah, I kind of get limited. There's a limit now. I can't go all the way to the bottom here. I'm holding the arrows, by the way. So holding it until it stops. You see I go past this part of the level. There goes one of the dudes. And this is as far over as I can go. The reason, if I stop playing and go to the scene view and go into the managers, there's actually a, what's it called? A grid manager? One of these, it's got a gizmo. There it is. Movement manager. So the movement manager's got this grid for dealing with movement. I assume for unit logic and a couple other things. Grid searching for finding things that are in range and stuff. But this size doesn't match, right? This doesn't match with where we need it to go. So I just need to adjust these corners here. So I can adjust the left corner, the right corner, like that, drag those out and make it cover the whole map. But I need to do that while it's not playing. So I'm going to stop playing, drag the X over here, and the Y over here so that it covers to the edge of the map. And then for the other ones, I just got to do the same and just going to drag the other 2 sides. So take the upper corners, drag it out there till it covers, and the other one right here until it covers the edge there. All right. Save that off. That should allow me to move the guys. I need to make sure that my nav mesh is baked still. I'm going to go back into that, go to navigation, and just hit the bake button one more time. Make sure that it's updated with the latest stuff. The latest movements and things of objects. And then look at these orcs just floating here above the ground, huh? Where are these orcs? I think I want to disable them temporarily. So I'm guessing that if I look under factions... Nope. Let's just go click on one. There we go. Free units. Let's uncheck them. Bam. They're disabled. All right. We'll play. Oh, the object for the building center of the warehouse. I need to fix that too. So let's see. If I create a unit, let's just make sure that that's still an issue. So I go in
Hello.
here. I can't move my
Hello.
guy. Okay. Is that because of this error here that popped up? Let's get the console log back in. I'm going to stop, uncheck, maximize on play. Play again. Get the console log down, locked in place, and let's go take a look at the error. So what's the problem here? Building center or build around on building request is null. Let's see where this was called from again. So this gets called by, okay, this is an NPC trying to make a building. Oh, okay. So it's just the NPCs not being able to build their buildings. Why can't they build their buildings? Wait, why can't I build my building is a better question. Like, I don't even care so much about these NPCs. I want to know why my villager... Let me play again and take a look at it. How long have I been working on this project? Well, this one we just created a new project earlier at the beginning of the stream. You'll be able to see it from the beginning, using a bunch of assets and stuff, and then pulling in a map that I'd kind of drawn up right here. But overall, like for the project idea in general, like 2 weeks or so, just kind of in a little bit of spare time, just trying to figure out how I want to do things and what I actually want to build. So why is this guy not able to move? What's wrong with my terrain? Oh, I know. I'm blind. My terrain's not on the terrain layer. Probably fix all of my issues. Let's save the scene. Let's go back to collaborate. Let's just check that we added cartoon textures and fixed terrain and publish. I'm going to make sure that I've got that in there. Somebody asked how I feel about Unreal Engine for a beginner. I haven't used it as a beginner in a very long time. It was pretty difficult a long time ago when I used it the first time around, but it's a powerful and great engine. It's relative. I assume it's much easier to get started from nothing in there than it used to be when I was getting started. So
Hello.
I would say check it out, dive into it, and try it out. It's a good engine. Definitely very popular. Okay, there we go. Building a barracks. All right, I think things might actually work. Let's maximize on play. Interesting. I'm not sure what they're getting an error for. All right, let's build another villager.
Hello.
Actually, I can send that villager over to work on it. That's right. Multiple villagers can work on a thing and make it faster. So send over every new villager. So right there, you can just right click and add a waypoint for a new dude. So you get a guy created and it'll auto go to whatever the waypoint is, which is perfect. All right, we got 5 villagers building up this barracks. My population is capped out, so right after that, they'll build up a house.
Hello.
Actually, I should probably start that right now. Start building a house. As soon as that finishes, they can all jump over to it, and I can start building units and see if I can take out the enemy real quick.
Hello.
All right, run.
Hello.
All right, and you guys, build a knight. Oh, this guy
Hello.
can't build. It's got the max builders on there. Okay, let's go take some treasure. As soon as this is done, got pop slots. Okay.
Hello.
And then these guys can go forage some resources. Actually, they should probably go forage food because they probably need food. There we go. And now I'm getting attacked. Oh, by that tower. Ah. Okay, I didn't know you could build towers. Let's build a tower. All right, tower, small tower. Go, small tower. All right, we're going to build out small towers to battle the
Hello.
enemy. Tower. Go work on the tower, guys. Hey, you,
Hello.
go make another tower. Small tower. Ah, my building's getting destroyed.
Hello.
You can repair. You go attack. Take out that tower.
Hello.
Repair. Okay, this is getting stressful now. I'm getting beat by the bots. All right, Spearman, go. What do I need? Archer. Come on, tower attack.
Hello.
All right, I'm definitely getting stomped here. I'm not very good at this game, even though I'm building it. Okay, I got an archer. Archer can attack that knight and not kill him, apparently.
At your command,
Ah,
sir.
run, archer.
At your command, sir. They shall all fall.
Hello.
All right, I think I might be able to win just by building up a bunch of towers. Let's see. Oh, see, here's that radius, by the way. It's got the radius around the other buildings. You can see it turning red. Let's put that tower up
Hello.
there. Go build.
Hello.
Go build.
Hello.
Go build.
Hello.
You are a villager. You are making knights. And,
Hello.
oh, I'm out of resources. Oh, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Hello.
So somebody was asking if you can use this with determinism and lockstep from multiplayer. Not from what I understand with RTS engine in general. I mean, I've looked at it. It's definitely not. And I'm not 100% sure that that's something that I want to shoot for either. It's on my list of considerations. If you look at the Milanote board, one of the things I was thinking about was, where did I put that? Interesting problems. Yeah. Just the idea of whether or not is going to be able to actually build an RTS that's not lockstep and have it perform well and work. And I've read enough from people arguing that they're able to do it and it's viable and works that I'm willing to give it a shot. So I guess we're going to see. But yeah, I'm a little bit curious about it myself.
Hello.
But it'll definitely make the
Hello.
development process, I think, quite a bit quicker if it works out that way. Let's see, anything else I can harvest over here? Nothing. I guess he could go attack that. He's just running away from a knight now, or an archer. Run, villager, run! There we go. I'll train him into here. Get him trapped. There you go. You fell for it. Stupid spear guy. I just make them chase me around. There you go. Chase my villager while you get shot at by my towers. This is probably not the best strategy. Okay, I think I'm going to stop playing now because, well, it's somewhat working, and I'm definitely just going to lose there. All right, yes, we are really live. I think I want to just take a drink now and answer a couple questions for a few. Getting a little bit worn out from all the running around in here and looking at stuff. So somebody asked, what's an RTS? RTS is just a real-time strategy game. It's just a game where you control usually a bunch of units and move them around, battle, and try to take out the enemy. And the goal here is to build an RTS that's kind of like Command and Conquer Generals 0 Hour, where you've got a bunch of different teams and units doing somewhat realistic sci-fi destruction and battles, and then somewhat of a mix of Fortnite style stuff where you've got some time limiting aspects of a storm that's shrinking in, bringing everybody together and making them kind of fight in the center of the map. And I already kind of pulled up the map. Let me just bring it up again for people who haven't seen or weren't here when we were putting in and pulling in the map. And this is essentially kind of the, ooh, that's not a very visible way to see the map. This is essentially what the map's supposed to look like. If I can get it to show up. Do I have that quad shown in front of it? What's going on here? Why is my map looking all grayed out? But something's shown in front of it. Oh, I bet it's like the air terrain object or something. No. Essentially, well, this is basically the map though. So 4 sides with a center area, and then people fighting over the middle. That's kind of the goal, with a storm that shrinks in over the middle, and then you've got bases here. Right now, I'm using the built-in kind of pre-given units for RTS engine, and then we're going to swap over to the other ones that I've got in this project later on. Once I get the core functionality done, this is more of a test to make sure that the functionality was going to work to be able to swap them. Once that's done though, I'm going to once I get the main gameplay loop going, then we'll swap back to these actual units. So I want to get kind of a really simple gameplay loop going, and I've kind of got that already started in there, where we can see some units going in battle. And then I want to do the, I guess now that the loop kind of works already, I want to do the replacing of units. And I guess that's kind of where we're at, right? Because let's go into the detailed tasks. So it's playable, and I mean, it's not great, but it definitely works. So, and then I even tested it versus an NPC and got my butt kicked. So I think that the next part will be verifying a game loss. I probably should have done that. I'll move that over to in progress, or one of the things I need to do really soon or next. And then going through and actually doing one army and creating a tank. And I kind of want to do a little bit of design work here on what the armies will look like, what they're going to be, or at least what one of them is going to look like, and what a couple of the units are going to be. So I think the first, I'm really kind of up in the air, but I think that the first thing that I want to make is a simple, like medium level tech unit, where I've got a set of units where I've got construction unit, and then a single like infantry style unit that goes around collecting resources, and another one that shoots in either an infantry unit or a vehicle that does it. I'm kind of not sure. Maybe I do a vehicle, like a tank and a harvester, or a tank and a builder. I think I'll do a tank and a builder will be kind of the next steps. So let's go add that into the detailed tasks. So we'll go choose tank, or choose initial tank, first tank. So we're going to pick out the first tank, implement first tank unit, because this is going to be one that shoots. And I've got to figure out the shooting, the projectiles, and all that, which I assume will kind of come nearly from the Archer and stuff. Take some of the stuff from there, from the Siege Engine example that they've got. But I don't want to do this until I switch to RTS Engine 2. So I also want to put upgrade to RTS Engine 2.0, and I probably want to do a little experimenting with that too. So really my implement part is probably going to go later on. That'll be one of the things I'll do after I go through this upgrade and experiment. Choosing the tank, though, I could definitely do. And then choose construction unit. And I think that's it. So I'll give them each a construction unit. Well, wait, do I need not a construction unit? I think I want a harvesting unit. So I want to choose a harvester, choose a tank, and then I'll get those implemented once I switch the RTS engine, and then have them battle. I think that seems like a good solid plan. How does fog make players lose? Oh, is their main build? Okay, so somebody's asking about how the storm would kill the units, or how that would actually work in the idea. So if we go back up, part of it is core idea was that you pull things down or kill people with the storm. So if we go into, I think it's in my, not in that one. Which one was it in? Buildings? one of these boards I'd actually put in, I think this one, this is my mixed board. Oh yeah, in this one. So essentially the thought was with the storm, like you build up around those edges of the map. Like let's go into Unity, right? So you build up around the this is the wrong instance of Unity. Sorry. You build up around those edges, or when you come in, you could build up on these little platforms, and there will be lots of resources kind of scattered around the edge, right? And then maybe halfway through the timer is what I was thinking. The storm will come in and start to kill everything that's in those areas, slowly creep in. And I'm thinking it would just be like a slow creep over time, not so much a timed and then move and timed and move, but just a very slow creeping in over time that will destroy anything or do damage to anything in that area. So it basically like shrink down the size of the map until the map eventually gets to here. And all of the stuff outside of that map would get destroyed. And I was thinking a couple options. One is making things so that you can move some of the buildings. So maybe some teams just can move all their buildings, some can move some. Make it so you can sell buildings. A really common thing in RTS is you could sell them for half price, get your money back, and recoup it. You still have some loss there, but it's the cost of building right outside on the edge next to the resources. And then the other option, having like some special units that could maybe pick up and move buildings. But overall, the goal is like, build out there quickly and then, very soon get into the middle and take over the middle or fight for the middle and be the last one standing there. Again, it could be terrible. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just a boring concept and it's not fun when it's done, but it seems like it'll be interesting. All right, I'll take a couple more questions. Let's see, I got a question for you. What's the opt-out age for someone trying to get into the industry? I have no idea. I've never seen one. I mean, I've seen people get into the industry at all different ages, from super young to super old, and pretty much everywhere in between. So you just have to really want to do it and be into it and be passionate, I think. Somebody's asking what the tool was I was using. That's Millinote. Highly, highly recommend it. They sponsored this stream, by the way, and another video that I did. The tool is amazing. I literally I use it every day for not just this stuff, but I use it for like my video planning and some other day-to-day stuff, other outside of development project planning things. But I primarily use it a lot for just game design stuff and game planning and project planning for my games. But I use it for a couple other things. So I really like it. So when you lose, you have no soldiers and buildings, essentially. Yeah, that's kind of the goal. Is once you run out of units and buildings, you're dead. So then you lose. If you still have a researcher or a builder that can go out and make another building, then hey, you can be the last one alive, I guess. But get the idea. All right. Make an idea. Only getting game ideas from my room. Yes, that would be fun. I don't know. I have a lot of fun just decorating the room. That's what I do when I get overwhelmed or sick or something else. Is start decorating and relax and put in all the stuff I like. All right. Will you try streaming on Twitch? I've considered it, but I haven't seen. From what I understand, there's not a whole lot of game dev stuff going on there on Twitch, so it didn't seem like a great spot for it. But it's something I'll probably do sometime soon. Maybe at least stream to multiple sources. Did you ever do any modeling in Blender? No, because I am a terrible, terrible artist and terrible at modeling. I know people who are great artists that work in Blender, but I'm definitely not one. See, any other questions that pop up? If not, I think I'm going to go grab some food. I'm getting really hungry, and maybe we'll resume this sometime later on this week, put those units in. Actually, I think maybe I'll check out RTS Engine 2.0 in the next day or two, and then we'll dive in, maybe do an update to that version, and then start putting in some custom units and then have them going around. And one of the things I'd like to do relatively soon too is jump into the multiplayer aspect, get the networked part up, and just do some builds really early on. I don't want to wait until everything's all up and running. I want to get the process of doing a multiplayer build and maybe have a couple people just hop on and join into a battle and just see that things are working before diving too deep into it. I don't want to like go down the route and then find out, oh yeah, I can't actually get anything to work, or that you're doing something totally stupid and making it more difficult for yourself. So try to do some testing of that, maybe, and then probably not this week, maybe next week or the week after that though. I think it would be fun. All right. Sounds like a cool concept. You planning on releasing it? Definitely. If I'm gonna use it, I mean, if I'm gonna finish it or continue on with it, I will definitely release it. I mean, the plan right now is to do that. So we'll see how it goes and if things change. But assuming the game is fun and interesting, yeah, I definitely want to release it, get it out there, and see it. Assuming I'm not the only person that thinks it's fun, that is, right? And why not use Restream to stream on all the platforms? I might do that. The problem I end up with Restream is that it kind of lowers the quality of the shared stuff. So if I can do that without it losing some quality on there so you can see the desktop and see the code well, then I might just go that route. Any tips for making time outside of work for game dev when programming and for work exhausts you? That is a tough one. It gets difficult when you're like exhausted and want to get into coding and you've been coding all day long. Do it early. So in my opinion, like for me, I get the best stuff done at the beginning of the day, and I would bet that probably in that same case, and that most of the time that stuff is work work related. What I would try to do and see if it's possible is see if you can adjust your schedule to get up earlier and do a bit of the game dev work before going to actual work so that you're having fun with it, entertained and stuff, and then going to work. It might make going into work kind of suck more because you go from doing something fun to something that might not be as fun depending on the day at work. But I'd try something like that. Try to just rearrange and reorganize the schedule so that you're doing it at your peak times, that you're doing the fun thing that you love or that you want to do and get better at when you're kind of freshest, and then save the more mundane stuff. I assume most of the time work stuff becomes relatively mundane throughout, not always, but when you're doing development stuff, it becomes pretty standard and you can kind of do that without all the energy and motivation. So you do that as the second part. What else? You got a couple more questions. Is player hosted multiplayer too large for a goal in developing my first game? Yes. I would not start with a multiplayer game. I'd start with single player game without a doubt. I mean, I've built a bunch of multiplayer games, worked on a bunch of MMOs, and I still get very hesitant at the idea of making something multiplayer. I mean, even if you get it working and you get it right and get it all figured out, it's going to take you maybe 5 times longer than a single player game. If I was just building this RTS as a single player thing, didn't need to worry about it at all, it would probably take me as well about maybe a quarter of the time. It takes a lot more time and energy to make something multiplayer. I would not start there. Start with single player and then build up. Once it's fun and you've got a couple things that you know are fun, then go for the multiplayer experience. What networking solution do you plan to use? I'm going to use Mirror in here. They've got a mirror integration example already set up, so I'm going to use that. Unless that's changed for RTS Engine 2, then that's my plan. Just stick with that, see how it works. And again, unless it doesn't work and I run into problems, I'll just use that and stick with it. If I run into problems and I have to change it, then I'll deal with that later. Let's see what else we got here. Do you recommend a game development course on the internet? I mean, I recommend my own that are linked down below. There are probably quite a few. There's also lots of free YouTube videos and YouTube courses out there. And if you go to my link down below and you go to the beginner section, there's actually a free course there that goes through game development stuff too, with a bunch of quizzes and tests and stuff to make sure that you're kind of following along. And a bunch of free art assets too that my buddy Frank made. Let's see what else we got. Do you need testers? Not yet, but definitely will. So as soon as we get into the multiplayer stuff or actually having a little bit of content and a little bit of good implemented design, then without a doubt, yeah, and I'll be talking about that in here, I'm sure, and sending out emails and stuff. What's your game dev diet for productivity? It's right here. It's all Rockstar. Protein bars. That's pretty much it. Which reminds me, I should probably get into one of those pretty soon. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I love that little desk or that table thing. It's a little mini fridge too, so it keeps these things cool. I've been trying to figure out where to put it forever to make it fit into the shot, and glad that it finally works. All right. So let's see. Please tips for game ideas. I don't have any great tips for game ideas. I think I'm not the best designer. This is the best one I've got so far. What other RTS games have you been into over the years? A lot of them. I played through the Total War ones. Warhammer stuff was a lot of fun. Supreme Commander was a blast when that came out. Didn't really stay into it too much. The Age of Empires series, all of them. And Command and Conquer for sure Command and Conquer was by far my favorite. And then Civilization ones, they're not RTS, but semi similar, are another one of the ones that I played semi recently. Outside of that, I try to look at all of the different RTSs and just kind of like loosely play them for a minute or watch a video on them, and then if they look interesting, play them. But I struggle to find one that's perfect. So it's a good question. There's a lot of methods. If anybody has a good suggestion too, I'd love to hear it too. If you got an idea for an RTS that's worth looking at or worth diving into and taking a look at, I'd love to check that out. Let's see what else we got here. Planning to get a GameDev computer. Any recommendations? The primary ones: get a reliable solid state drive, so good SSD that's not going to die. Don't get like look at the reviews of it and make sure that it's not going to be likely to fail, right? Because that's the problem. You want to make sure one that's going to keep around. Oh, Stellaris got mentioned in chat. Yeah, that's one I played. Oh, and Stellar Warfare just came out on Steam. Another cool one made by another dude in Unity. Really cool. Check it out. I'll probably do a stream talking about that one pretty soon too. I'm meaning to do it for a while. Oh, I lost my train of thought there. What was I going to say? Oh, for a computer. So SSD for sure. CPU kind of matters. I mean, I'd go for like an i5 or maybe not an i5, but an AMD. I would have been on AMD CPUs for quite a while. I'd probably go with one of the AMD newer series, but I mean, it doesn't make a huge difference. It's going to be more for just a little bit on compilation time. The SSD will matter more. 16 gigs of RAM. If you can get more, cool. If not, then 16 I would say is probably a good minimum. And I don't know, outside of that, some sort of an NVIDIA or AMD GPU. One, maybe not the latest gen because they're ridiculously overpriced right now and everything, but whatever you can find that's reasonable. One of their gaming video cards so that things actually are rendering like they would render for somebody on a gaming system. But I wouldn't go with the highest end system on that or anything. And you can do this from a desktop for sure. It's way cheaper if you go desktop route. But I mean, you can also do some dev stuff on a laptop. It's just going to end up a bit slower. Just remember, like when you're clicking on things and hitting play and doing builds and things, it'll be a little bit slower. But I mean, and somebody mentioned in chat, don't buy a computer right now. It's expensive. Like they are definitely higher price now than normally. I have no idea if that's going to change though and go back down or what's going on there. But yeah, it's like SSD is my main thing and 16 gigs of RAM. All right, let's see. What else did we have for questions? What books do you recommend for game development? I've got right there. Can you see it there? The Art of Game. Oh, you can't see it. The Art of Game Design one. I really like that book, and with the little cards too. The cards are fun. I think I might pull those out during the next one when I actually get into some design stuff because they're pretty handy for just going through the process. Oh yeah, and somebody else on the dev system, big monitor or multiple monitors. Get two screens, or right now what I'm using is one big giant screen that goes from here to here, the 49-inch. I love this thing. If you can get it, go with a 49-inch ultra wide. But other than that, just two reasonable size screens so you can see your code and see your game side by side without having any issue. I've been a big fan of using two monitors for decades now, and I mean I used three monitors for at least a decade, and then eventually was able to switch to this one that replaces three, which is a great option as well. So if you can get an ultra wide 49-inch one and it'll fit, go with that. Otherwise, just get at least 2 monitors. I mean, obviously this one's a bit extreme, but it made sense for the YouTube stuff. It works great as a thing in a YouTube thumbnail too. All right, so let's see. Anything else? Where to learn coding shaders? I'm not sure what's a good place. And what are we talking about right now? I was just going over Q&A and questions from chat. So if anybody's got a couple more questions, I'll take those, and then I think I'm gonna wrap it up and go grab some food real quick, and see what my wife was just sending me. Check these lights. For some reason, the light right there, you can see, where is it at right there? That one is not syncing up, and I can't change the color on it. It's not working. I don't know what's going on. All the other lights are working, but that one doesn't show up. Nothing at all. No ceiling light. There's controls for all the other ones, so I don't know. Anyway, take a look. This should have a couple more questions, and then we'll be good. What's the screen model? It's I don't know. It's the LG 49-inch ultra wide one. I think they only have one of it. It was white and it matched with the Office perfect. Oh, Freya has a good series on shaders. That doesn't surprise me at all. She's got good series on just about everything. Jason Story just mentioned that. Thanks, Jason. Rules of Play is a great book. I haven't seen that one. Let me check that out. Rules of Play. Game Design Fundamentals. Oh, okay. So that's just switch and pull it up real quick. This looks like it's this one right here. Rules of Play. We got a paperback and a hardcover. Interesting. Yeah, I'll check this out. Add this one to the list. I've not read it yet. Let's see. How do you plan a development of a game? Oh, I generally, like I was showing earlier, I plan them with a lot of loose notes in boards that I slowly kind of put together and build into a plan, and then eventually create a game design doc and put that in there as well. And I kind of went through that a little bit earlier. You see on the replay of the stream, you can go through and see some of the stuff that I've already put together for the planning there. How do I get an internship? I would say you need to apply for it first and have something that you can show that show that you're really interested in the project and the product that you're applying on, because interns are generally, like, if they're not super into the project, they're less likely to be useful on it and less likely to get into it. So you want to be interested and into it and be able to show that, but also show the value that you're going to be able to bring to it. And a lot of companies, to be fair, only do internships through organizations. So they do it like through a college or some other organization that they've got it set up with, where they do the internship. So it just depends on what the company is and how they've got their stuff going, though. So look at the company, look at what their process is for the internship, and then that'll get you in. Although I would, if you can, just go in for a junior position instead of an internship and skip the entire intern position and idea. It's great if you're in college and they're able to get it for you, but it's not something that I would go actively looking for outside of there. I'd try to just find a junior position instead. It would be more permanent, probably easier to find, and there's less of the legal and technical issues that come up with internships when you're doing it that way. So the internships tend to be, I think probably harder to get than a junior game dev job, unless you've got somebody that's setting up the internships for you to get it into them. Again, been a long time since I looked into this stuff and tried to do it, so could be way off, but it's just my experience. So let's see, what advice would you give to somebody who likes making games but hates marketing / advertising them? One, learn to love marketing and advertising the game. As much as you might not want to do it, it's important, and it's possible that you can go from hating it to maybe not loving it, but not hating it completely. And it doesn't take that long. It just takes a bit of researching and kind of learning about the process and seeing what that's like and how you can do it without seeming or being like a used car salesman. Because I think a lot of time people think of marketing and selling their game as being like a used car salesman saying, hey, buy my game, buy my game, buy my game. It's the best game ever. You need to buy my game. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can definitely go completely different routes that are generally a lot better. And I'd say if you do a little bit of research into it, you might find that you hate it a little bit less. Do a little bit of reading on a couple different marketing books. You'll see, like, at least in my experience, it's made it quite a bit better. And also just consider maybe working with somebody else who is into the design side or into some other part of the game development and likes the marketing. Not necessarily that only likes the marketing, because they're probably not going to contribute too much to your game unless your game is at that point where it's at the scale where you just need somebody fully on marketing, but maybe somebody who likes to do that and does other things, and bringing them into. But I would say try reading a couple books on it. Try reading like Influence, a good book on marketing stuff. What was another one? There are a couple good, but if anybody's got good marketing books just on how to get into it and doing it without it being a stressful nightmare, link them in the chat, please. I'd be kind of curious, or in the comments if you watch this later. Also, if you're still watching live, please hit the thumbs up button. We're gonna wrap things up in just a second, so I want to beg for those real quick. Is there anything else here? Guys, any idea on how to make a shield system which allows 3 hits, then the shield is disabled? Oh yeah, so I mean, in that case, the simplest thing would be like a script that has a collider on it that's a trigger that just on trigger enters 3 times and then disables and prevents the thing from hitting. I mean, it depends a little bit on what your system looks like, but essentially, it's just intercept the part where you take damage, and instead of taking damage or before taking damage, check to see if there's an invulnerability shield, and then either decrement that shield or tell that shield to like take a hit and reduce itself, and then when that gets down to 0, go back through your normal flow. So if that shield hit, then you basically bail out of the damage flow. Be one easy way to do it. All right, mathematics, very important in game development. What do you think, Jason? Not so much. Math is, come here, Poodle. Wild dog that's gonna lose her mind here. It's somewhat important when it's very important when it comes to the rendering stuff and a lot of the lower level development stuff that you'll do. A lot of the engine work that you'll do, and rendering stuff that you'll do can be pretty math heavy. But in general, most of the game development work that you'll do is very light on math. You'll see that maybe you use complex math once every other week. It's not something too complicated, and most of the time you can just search for the answer and kind of figure it out. I'm definitely not a math wizard myself, and I've never really had too much of a problem. It doesn't hurt. There's definitely benefit being good at math. It can help, but it's not something that's extremely important. Her name is Bella, and she is losing her mind because my wife got back, and she can see her out there, and she can't handle the fact that she's locked in here with me. All right, let's see. What other question? That was the answer to the name of my dog. Sorry, I didn't read the question there. Let's go through a couple more. Any book recommendations for how to design a puzzle game? No, but I'll ask Salim in our next call. I think that's a good question for him. He probably has some suggestions for that, or Jason Story might have one. All right, I think that's the end of the questions there. So I'm just going to wrap this up by saying thanks again. I hope this was helpful and you guys learned a little bit about terrain stuff and RTS stuff, and we'll be back to do some more with the latest RTS engine, put in the units, and kind of follow through with the rest of my my Millinote plan that I've got there. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you like, subscribe, or just leave a comment and say hello and something. I don't know. I'm going to take a breath, go get some food, and then we'll be back into streaming probably not today, probably sometime later on this week. So just keep an eye out, make sure that you're subscribed, and you'll see it when it pops up. All right, thanks again, everybody, and I will see you soon. Again, don't forget to hit all the buttons. Follow the advice of the thumbs up. Oh, where are you? The thumbs up button right there. Can I line that up? All right, thanks again. Bye.